Chicken Coop Homestead, and I wanted to share with y'all a fun thing that I got to do. We went to a seed swap. Actually, we went to 2 seed swaps in one day. And if you've I'd never been to I've done like little seed swaps between our master gardeners and our own garden club, but I've never been to like another type of seed swap. And a nursery here in town hosted a seed swap, and of course invited, the public and our garden club to come to the seed swap. We had a little information table and stuff there, and then we had a speaker. His name is Jay White from Texas Garden Magazine. That's a wonderful magazine if you live here in Texas. Great information that is research-based, good. He's got lots of contributing writers, and he and his wife Sally are wonderful. We've had them with our garden club. We did a gardening workshop, and he came and was a speaker at our gardening workshop, and he is wonderful. He's really a personable guy, just real down to earth, and that was fun. He spoke at this the first seed swap. The second seed swap was in Tyler at the library, and it was a Facebook group. I think it's Texas Area Garden Lovers put it on, hosted it, and they also do like a plant swap or something like that in the spring and in the fall. They say that's wonderful, so we're all excited about going to that as well. So I wanted to kind of go over my seeds. You had to bring seeds, and it was kind of on the honorary basis. If you brought, 20 seed packets, take 20 seed packets home. If you brought 50 seed packets, take 50 seed packets home. And this is from both seed swaps. I don't know what I got from which seed swap, so I'm going to go over these with you. Okay, and I have a list. I got like 24 different seeds from the seed swap. The first one is called Blue Sky Vine, and it is some small little black seeds. And I looked them up, and she said they're blue. She said this lady, a neighbor of hers, had these on the end of a cul-de-sac in their neighborhood, and it was just a showstopper. Everybody stopped and looked at this flower on the end of their cul-de-sac. So I got some of these. And when I looked it up, they talk about Blue Sky Vine. It's almost kind of like a marigold, but I think it has a more of a more ruffled petal than a marigold. It's heat and sun loving, and so I really like that. Here in East Texas, anything that's heat and sun loving is a win-win here in Texas. So that is one. I don't know really where I'm going to plant this, but it's Blue Sky Vine, and it she said it got big. It kind of took over. I don't think it's kind of an invasive thing, but it does, it does sprawl, does climb. The next is a Cracker Jack Marigold. Now, it's just a marigold. I looked it up. They're just kind of yellow and orange Cracker Jack marigolds, but I was excited about my marigolds. I have a lot of saved marigold seeds myself, but this will be good. I like to put marigolds around my tomato plant, so I'm going to start some marigolds. The next one is Gumprina. Never seen this plant or anything, so it was very new to me. And I got 2 packages. Look at all these seeds in these packages. That was what was so neat about it, is all these were things that people had grown in their yard, and they were knowledgeable about them, and they were very, very generous. I mean, if you bought these seed packets, this would be 30 seed packets. If you got 10 seeds a piece in a package, you'd be doing good. And look at this, there's just tons of them. I looked those up, and they kind of look like a bachelor button to me, kind of like a little bit of a bachelor button, but not quite as flat, more of a mounded shape, kind of like the flower on a clover or something like that. But supposedly the bees and the pollinators love this. It's drought and heat tolerant, and you plant it in full sun. Win, 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 win when you talk about Gumprina. And if it will seed itself like this, if she's giving away this type of seeds, all the better. I love it. I was so excited about that. Now the next one is Philippine Lily. Now let me find my Philippine Lily. She had a ton of seeds off the Philippine Lily too. Okay, so there's the seed packet. And when I looked up Philippine Lily, they look just like an Easter lily, except the stem on this Easter lily gets 5 to 6 feet tall. You know, a regular Easter lily, 2 foot tall, maybe 3, and just huge long stalks, very good, a lot of greenery on the stalks. So it's a good thing to plant like kind of in the back of a flower bed, and draws interest into the back of that flower bed to have that nice big lily. And because you saw all those seeds, she had a ton of seeds just like that. And it's kind of self-seeds and comes again and again. So win-win-win on that. The next thing I got is some Comfrey Roots. Very excited about this. And if y'all know, Comfrey is just a wonderful herbal plant. It's a very great thing to have in your garden. I have a small little batch of Comfrey coming on, but this will add to it, and I'm very, very excited about this. And this gardener gave you a whole little sheet that tells about Comfrey. So it was a wonderful thing, very educational. I thought it was a great thing. The next one is Birdhouse Gourds. And I've never, look at these seeds, these seeds, how different they are, if you can see them. They're so strange looking. I don't know what I thought a Birdhouse Gourd seed looked like, but it wasn't like this. Aren't they strange looking? So, excited about some Birdhouse Gourds. And he had some other gourds. He had those long dipper gourds. And he and I talked a long time. He had a lot of beans, and he and I talked a lot about beans. I was excited to talk to somebody. He was excited about talking about beans like I was, so I was excited to have somebody to talk about beans with. Now, the next one is Brazilian Verbena. I got this from a friend of mine. I don't show you the things, but it's in a packet here. And I looked up Brazilian Verbena, and they get tall, 35 to 47 inches. They're very drought tolerant, full sun, and the pollinators love them. Win-win-win when you talk to me about drought tolerant, pollinators love it, full sun. So very excited about Brazilian Verbena. Another one that I think will be good planted in the back of a flower bed, and then you have those lower growing plants in the front. I got some cantaloupe seeds. No big deal about that, but my husband loves to grow cantaloupe, so we always are about some cantaloupe seeds. Dill. I got some dill seeds. Where are my dill? Here they are. So this one is dill. She says harvest as needed and sow in place. So this one you don't even have to, you just sow these plants and they're gonna grow. So I've got some dill seeds. Look at there. And look at all those. You know, I mean, you would get about half of that if you bought dill in a seed package. You might get 10 or 12 seeds. So I have at least 2 dill seed packets that I got for free, y'all. That's the great thing about these seed swaps, is free. If you're starting a garden and you're trying to do this as frugally as you know how, gardeners, if you know gardeners, they are very generous, very, very generous people. And if they know you're trying to start something and you don't have a lot of money, they're just like, here, you need this, you need this, you need this, you need this. Now, you need to reciprocate in kind, and I was not prepared. I'd never been to one of these seed swaps, and I took Moon Plant and Zinnia seeds. But my Zinnia seeds were from all my zinnias that I had bought from Baker Creek, a whole menagerie of Baker Creek zinnias, and so I had the zinnias and Moonflower Plant. So I will be definitely trying to get some more seeds. You know, I had last year was our garden tour, then you know we got sick in July, so you know it was just one of those off years. I didn't get to save a lot of things, so but this is something I'm going to prepare and work for, are these seed swaps. I really am excited about these, and our whole garden club is excited about them. Okay, the next thing I got is Thumbelina Zinnia seeds. These are just those small, they grow very small. Let's see if I'm trying to get this without a glare, but it's hard. They're just little small zinnia seeds. And see, they even put information about the Thumbelina zinnias, and they put a picture. How nice is that? I got 2 different ones of Texas Star Hibiscus. So here is the pod And then, of course, when you open up the pod, there's seeds that are going to come out of this pod. And I think these are just the seeds out of the pod. But from 2 different people, so I don't really know what color it is. But more than likely, usually Texas stars are kind of a reddish pink color. So we'll see. But I'm excited about this Texas star hibiscus. This is a native hibiscus. It's not a tropical hibiscus. So in my area, it will survive the winter, and it definitely self-seeds itself. It's a wonderful plant. I love things that self-seed. I love things that don't cost me money, that every year I know will come back and come back and come back. And the Texas star hibiscus is a beautiful plant. It will have a huge dinner plate petal on it, and it's just beautiful, very striking plant. So I got all these seeds of a Texas star hibiscus. So excited about that. One of my friends had seen one of my videos and was saying that I didn't have, and I said I only had like that 1 package of radish seeds. She gave me some radish seeds. So these are early scarlet globe. So I have plenty of radish seeds now, and isn't that wonderful? I'm not gonna have to spend a dime on radish seeds. Now the next thing is a beautyberry. I did not know. I know what this plant is when I looked it up, but I did not know what a beautyberry was. They were trying to explain to me what a beautyberry was, and I was like, I don't know what that is. I've never seen that. But it's a very common plant, especially here in the woods of East Texas. It has big green leaves, and it puts out a real long stalk, and then along the stalk is a round bunch of purple little seeds up the stalk. And so it's just like seeds, stalks, and they're like a little bunch of little round seeds. I did not know what that was called. That's a beautyberry, so who knew? But anyways, so this I will probably put, usually it goes good in kind of like a undercarriage of the forest. So maybe out in my wooded area, I might just throw out some of these seeds and see how they do. And one lady told me that you could make beautyberry jam out of those seeds, out of those little berries that come on it. So I'm kind of interested in this because to make a jam out of. I think that would be great. They're kind of a purple, bright fuchsia purple little berry. Other one is Texas Mountain Laurel. And I did not know what this is. Look at these seed pods and these seeds. Can you see them? These bright red seeds in these little seed pods. So you probably open up those seed pods and there's 1 to 2 seeds in there, and the seeds are that red seed right there. Right there. They're very much kind of, to me, remind me the way the tree shape is like a Texas lilac, vitex tree, what we call Texas lilacs here. But this Texas Mountain Laurel kind of gets kind of a drapey, purpley flower. But they say that the smell of that flower has a great Kool-Aid smell. So that's awesome that you get a smell. And it says it's a small to medium tree, kind of like this, you know, maybe not quite as big as a crepe myrtle, but kind of in between that Texas lilac-y. It kind of grows like that. It's sun and heat tolerant. Now the next thing I got was Cherokee Trail of Tears pole beans. So excited. I told y'all I wanted to concentrate a lot on beans in this year. So when I saw this, man, I snatched this up. You would pay, I don't know how many beans are here, but at least probably enough for 2 packages. You would pay a lot of money for these seeds because everybody likes this. This is a heirloom. It has history. My husband's family was on the Cherokee Trail of Tears, so I was very excited about this. I mean, even if you didn't have an ancestor Native American descent, just that history of that Cherokee Trail of Tears is something. And I'll know just the scratch of the surface about this, but these, when they did the march from like North Carolina, all those top places, down to Oklahoma, I know not even a pinhead of this history, but they took these bean seeds with them on the thing, and this is what they survived on, was you know, they lost hundreds, thousands of Indians on that trail, but the ones that survived because of these beans and how prolific they are. But these are Cherokee Trail of Tears pole beans. The growing is easy, the saving the seeds is easy, and they say cross-pollination is not very likely. So I'm super excited about these Cherokee Trail of Tears pole beans. I am very excited about that. Next thing I got is giant sunflowers, and look at these seeds. Got several seeds here, so I'm very excited about these. Of course, everybody knows about giant. Who doesn't like sunflower? So, and these giant ones grow big and tall. So I'm going to find a special place to put these in my garden. This next one is called Splyanthus. I hope I'm saying that right. I'm usually pretty good at doing flower names like a medical name. So I'm used to pronouncing medical things, and to pronounce flower names is very much that same way of pronouncing things. So this is Splyanthus, however you would say it, but it's a toothache plant. And I had heard about this a couple of, I guess maybe last year, but I've never seen one, did not know what it looked like. It's a very, very interesting plant. And what you're supposed to be able to do is any part of this plant, but mostly you could chew the leaves, you could chew the stalk, but for sure chew the flower, and it would numb your mouth like a toothache gel would numb your mouth. Okay, and then it's also, it makes you kind of salivate a little bit. So it's, people say it's some people use it for like if they have dry mouth, salivary glands working again. Very, very unusual plant. It looks very strange, kind of has a little ball flower head on top that's yellow and kind of an orangey pink color. I've never seen it. I've just seen pictures of it from when I looked it up, but I'm very excited to grow that. And it says it is full sun to partial shade, 10 to 12 inches apart, and what's inside it is Splanthol, and it numbs the mouth. So very excited. Y'all know I'm interested in herbs, so this is another herb that I can add to my herb garden and grow. You can also make tinctures out of it. You could make some salves out of it to save that medicinal property, so that especially when you don't have the flower blooming, that you've saved that property, that chemical in it, to save it for your medicinal herb and apothecary. Okay, next one is 4 o'clock. It's just mixed colors. Would you believe I don't have any 4 o'clocks growing, and I've wanted 4 o'clocks. Now, some people say 4 o'clocks can take over. So that a lot of people don't like to grow 4 o'clocks because they can take over. And really, they just are very heavy seed producers, and then the seeds fall down and there they go. So, you know, if you didn't want seeds, you could deadhead, or if you wanted to kind of contain it as much as possible, deadheading the flower heads and just trying to cut back on some of that seed production would help your 4 o'clock beds. But it's one of those things, if you have a little part of your yard that's kind of neglected, that you wanted to just put some color in, like if you have houses that has like a narrow little walkway, you could just fill this up with 4 o'clocks and let them go to town, and you would have an instant pop of color. So very interested in 4 o'clocks. This is from my friend Kim. She's in the garden club with me, and this is a trumpet vine. It's bright orange. It's a perennial. It's full sun. It's a great attracting for hummingbirds and blooms from June through October. Now, she has a little story. A lot of her plants that she has in her garden, she was on our garden tour of homes last year, were from her grandmother. And her grandmother either brought them to her and planted when they bought their property. And so, you know, now that's 30 years ago, and now they're just prolific on her place. And this is a vine. She has it growing on a fence row. Very, very common in East Texas is this orange trumpet vine. The only thing I did look this up, it can get a little invasive. So you do need to probably plant this out on some kind of an old fence row, something that you don't really, you know, if it kind of goes crazy, you don't care so much about. So you're not fighting it continuously. And that's kind of where she's got it at. But hers isn't going crazy. It's kind of just a little self-contained. Okay, Jewel of Opar. Now this is some very teeny tiny little seeds. They're almost like strawberry plant seeds. They're so tiny. See them? Jewel of Opar. I did not know. The lady that had this had a picture of this. It says it's full sun, it's heat tolerant and drought tolerant, and it likes a little dry. It likes it a little dry. But this is kind of it kind of has a clump on the ground. Then it grows up some stalks with some little very tiny little delicate little flowers, some little berry type things. It's very wispy, very kind of an airy looking little plant. It doesn't get very tall, kind of short, but it's called Jewel of Opar. And so I was very excited about that. It's just, you know, sometimes you need, if you have everything's this heavy, bloom, sometimes you need that little plant that's kind of that airy to break up all that. So you've got to think of your garden as kind of artistic and how you would decorate something in your home or things like that. Sometimes you need to break up that heavy with something that's kind of open and airy. You kind of got to break it up. So that's what I was excited about. And it has dainty little pink flowers. Jewel of Opar. And it also seemed like it had some burgundy maybe under the leaves, or some of the stalks or something were burgundy. So it had a little bit of a different depth of field characteristic in the greenery of it. It's giant coneflower. Look at all these seeds, y'all. This lady was so generous to give us all these seeds. Giant coneflower. Now let me tell you about these. You will love it. Giant coneflower. It's a perennial. It goes 3 to 6 feet tall. It goes really tall. Big long stalk, and then the flowers are up here. So it's a good thing to kind of break up and grow behind some things, because you get some of that movement up top because it grows up so tall. It likes moist, open places, a lot of water, and sun to part shade. And if you see all these seeds, it must be a prolific seed producer, or she has a ton of them or something. So very excited about this giant coneflower. Is so excited about this. Y'all have no idea. Just think how much you would spend. This is packed full. You could probably get 10 or 12 seed packets out of this if you bought it from a seed company. And then look here, another one. And another one. I mean, tons of seeds. So very, very generous women to give all this out. And men. There was men there too. This is a Roselle Hibiscus. Now, I have some seeds of this that I bought from Baker Creek Seed Company. And then, of course, somebody gave me some. So they are very expensive seeds, and they're kind of sold out a lot. So it's hard to come by a little bit. But if you don't know about Roselle Hibiscus, it is a flower. It's kind of in that okra, mallow type family. It grows a big flower, and the flower is beautiful. It's a pink flower, just kind of like how okra has a big flower, kind of grows like that. But what most people grow, the leaves and everything, are this burgundy red color, and has the stalks are burgundy red color, but has these calyx, which is kind of looks like a seed pod, but these calyx are a dark maroon, and that's what most people, you can make teas out of the calyx, you can make teas, you make jelly out of the calyx. So that's what most people want them for, even though the flower is very pretty, are these calyx that come from this. The next thing is a moonflower. I asked this lady about this one. I said, this doesn't look like my moonflower seed. It doesn't look like my moonflower seed at all. And she said, do you have the bush? And I said, yes, mine's very like bush-like. And she said, yes, this is the Moonflower Vine. And I guess that's why it looks so different. But look at these big seeds, and then there's a seed pod. So I've never seen this before as a vine, but the flower looks exactly like the flower, when I looked them up, the flower that I have that grows more like a bush. It is Datura. Datura is poisonous to dogs and animals and people, so you have to be careful with a moonflower plant. Now, I will say, just in general, maybe a dog may not be especially a dog that likes to chew on things, but most animals, most barnyard things do not eat a lot of things that are poisonous. I have a moonflower plant, and my grandkids have never messed with it. My dogs have never messed with it. My chickens do not mess with it because it kind of has a smell to them to kind of put you off. So, but just be careful. The moonflowers are beautiful plants, but they are poisonous. So just learn what you're growing and how poisonous things are. But I will tell you, there's lots of things out there that you would grow that you would be surprised if you ate them are poisonous, flower-wise. And see, I got lots of seeds. Please check out your library. Please check out your extension agent. Please check out your garden clubs and check into a seed swap. It is a wonderful, wonderful thing, and something that we're going to do for our garden club. I'm very excited about. We are going to do, like they have those little book libraries, or they have like those little pantries that people have put together, and they can take what you need, that type thing. We're going to do a garden seed swap library in our town. We have been donated a newspaper stand, and we're going to paint it up really pretty, put our logo on it, put it out by our historical marker in town. We have a wonderful Mineola Historical Museum, and our garden club, being the second oldest garden club in the state of Texas and the first in the Federation, we have a historical marker at our historical museum, which is downtown. It used to be our old post office right downtown. And so we have gotten permission to put in this little seed library. And what we're also going to do, not only have seeds there, but we're going to have gardening books, gardening magazines. We're going to try to stock it with gloves, some labels, little water hose nozzles, anything that's related to gardening that's small, that we can, like trowels, things like that we can stock it with, and that way people can come and get seeds out of our seed library and garden books. Check out your town. You may have a seed library already in your town. This library that we went to in Tyler, they have a seed catalog box. Like, how you used to have card catalogs. Well, now all that's got computerized. Now they do seed libraries like that in there. So just check out your local library. If you need to start your garden, or if you know somebody that's trying to start a garden, trying to do it as economical as possible because they just don't have the money to do it, there are ways to do it. But gardeners are so generous, and they will share knowledge. Anything they can do, they will try to share it. Anything extra that they have, here, take it. You can have it. Bulbs, plants, seeds, flowers. You let a gardener know that somebody wants to start gardening and is in need, they will help. I promise you they will help. I've never met a stingy gardener. So, we had a blast. As you can see, I'm very animated today and very excited because, it is so dreary outside. It is cold weather, winter weather. We had some ice and snow. But I am excited about gardening, boy. I am fired up. I'm ready to go. So, thanks for listening with me, and I will talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.